Hey, fellow South Africans and citizens of the world.
I've been looking around for salvation. I've been looking around for the truth. All around me I see frustration, and I looked all over till I found you. I sit and listen to your stories, and you're telling me, please don't worry. There's a lot in this world you should know, and love in life is where you should go. If you're looking for somewhere to go, if you're looking for someone to know, if you're looking for someone to guide you, then love in life will guide you.
Goeienaand, good evening, fellow South Africans and citizens of the world, and welcome to tonight's live stream, where we're going to be looking at what is happening with your Provident Fund policy, and especially where it equates to a very big life insurance company called Liberty Life in South Africa. And my guest tonight is a pensioner. Her name is Jean, and she has got a story to tell about what she is claiming is dodgy business with the same called Liberty Life. So let me get Jean on and find out exactly what the story is. Give me a second, guys. Let's go.
Good evening, Scott. How are you?
Hi, Glennis. Good, thank you. Yourself?
I'm very well, thank you.
Great.
I'm just trying to put my video. Can you see me, Scott?
I can see you, yeah, perfectly. And I can see Jean as well, just on the right-hand side there. If Jean could come more central. There we go.
Okay, over a bit. There.
Okay,
Better?
fantastic. Now,
Fantastic.
Jean, what I'd like to start off with is we're going to be talking tonight to you about how Liberty... Oh, we've lost your camera again.
Oh, hold on a second. I'm just trying to get us going. I'm trying to get the camera back on. Give me a minute, Scott.
Okay.
There we go. Okay.
Okay, fantastic. Now, Glennis, if you can just get a bit closer to sorry, Jean, if you can get... No, the other way around, sorry. I need Jean to come more central. A bit further across. That's better. That's better. Now,
Okay.
yeah, now I can see you. That's much better.
Okay.
Okay, lovely. Now, what I'd like to start off with, before we go into your experience with Liberty Life, which is a very, very big life insurance company in South Africa. I used to have a policy with them way back in the 80s, and I don't know what happened to that money. Hang on, have you got audio on? Because I'm getting I'm getting an echo.
Hang on, let me just check that.
Turn
Okay, let me
that
run it
down.
down a bit.
Yeah, turn it right down.
Better, Scott?
Yeah, that's much better. Okay.
Okay.
Now, just to kick off tonight's show, Jean, if you can tell us a bit about your life in South Africa. Just tell us about growing up in South Africa, how you started investing in this Provident Fund, all those sort of things, and then we'll talk about what actually happened.
Okay. Well, I grew up in Cape Town, and I was born there, and I finished schooling. I went and did a course at the night school, and I passed my bookkeeping and typing, And then I started working. I met a guy, my first boyfriend, and we got married. We had 3 children, 2 boys and a girl. And things were running smoothly, but eventually he became abusive, and it was bad. It was bad. And my children were then 3, 4.5, 6.5 years old.
Wow.
And I went to a magistrate who signed documents to put the 3 children on my passport. And I left Rhodesia and went back to Cape Town.
Right.
And for 8 years, I got no maintenance, no money, but we got by.
Right.
And of course, I have 3 children. My eldest son is with media. He's worked for German TV for over 30 years. My daughter, Glynis, she's media.
Publishing.
She's in publishing, and she calls the shots. And my middle son, my middle son was a jockey.
A jockey?
And yeah.
Okay.
And I adopted 2 children and looked after the first one, was a little girl. And later, a couple of years later, the parents took her back. And my grandson I raised. So, I've had a hectic life. But I've been happy, and I've got over all the little nonsense, hardships and stuff like that. And of course, our Pop's Liberty Life. I started work in Johannesburg with a company which was half German and half South African. And I stayed with the company for from 1970 to 1989.
Right.
And that's where my pension.
Your Liberty Life Provident Fund.
Yeah. First the pension and of course the Provident Fund.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed the pension money, came on time, everything was fine. And then in 1999, I was going into 2000. I thought, now where is my Provident Fund money? Because
how old were you at that time?
65 years old.
Okay, that's when they're supposed to pay it out, aren't they?
Yes.
Okay, so what happened?
So then I had to run around because what my company had done was that they transferred the Provident Fund money over and our pension to Wyn Jones. They were administrators.
Right.
So that's anyway the money came, but now the Provident Fund. So I don't know who did it. Wyn Jones as the administrators then took out a policy with Fidshaw.
Is this your Provident Fund?
Yeah, with my Provident
So they
Fund.
took it out of Liberty Life?
Yes, no, Liberty Life took over Provident, Fidshaw.
Oh, okay.
Part of Fidshaw.
Right.
Yeah. But I never got any money. So here was this policy that I didn't even know about. I signed no documents at all. And eventually, took me years looking, scratching around or whatever. I found out, Liberty Life's got it. And then I started writing letters and phoning and what have you. Then it went hot. Then it went cold. And then they ignored me. And it's been going on like that from about 2007 or 8. Long time.
So this has been going on for about 12 years now.
And then I started writing letters. Hey. Hello?
Yeah, I'm here. I'm here. Okay, so did you ever get any money from your Provident Fund?
No, nothing at all.
You never got 1 cent. Do you know how much money was in your Provident Fund?
53,300, and they took out an annuity on it.
Who
And
took
on
out
the,
Liberty
I
Life
don't
did?
know. No, I think it may have been Win Jones.
But who gave them authority to move it to another company?
I have no idea, but I never signed any documents.
Okay. Do you have a copy of the original Provident Fund certificate?
I have a Fedshaw Group's benefit where it clearly states here, funds transferred from Usco Provident Fund.
And that was done without your authority?
Yes.
Okay, so I guess that's the first thing that sounds really dodgy. Now, where is supposedly the money now? Is that in Winshaw or is that in another fund somewhere?
No. Well, no. Winshaw transferred it, put it into a Provident Fund in my name, and everything's perfect there. And then I believe Liberty Life took over Fedshaw stuff, whatever stuff it was.
Oh, so okay,
And
okay, got it. Yeah, okay.
So that's where it's sitting.
So the original Provident Fund was with another company, but then Liberty Life took over that company and with it your Provident Fund.
Yes.
Okay, so Liberty Life basically now have that 53,300 Rand, but they're not releasing it to you.
Well, they don't, because they took out the Fedshaw benefits, group benefits. They put the 53,300 there, and then it's an annuity. So that means that they've got to pay me that 53,300, which escalates by 10% every year.
Right.
They've got to pay me out till the day I drop dead. And unfortunately, I think they've gone past that date. Because they already threw it in my face that, why are you chasing your Provident Fund money? You know, you're at 86 years old. Look how much you've taken out of the, insurance and blah, blah, blah. And I said, well, isn't that too bad? But what about people who go on pension and maybe 2 or 3 years later or even a month later, they drop dead? And I know lots of people like that.
Yeah, but I guess what I'm trying to get clear in my mind is you've got a pension fund and you get a pension, but that's completely separate from the Provident Fund, which is an amount of money that's been invested by you or on behalf of you, and at 65 you're supposed to be paid out with that money, which has not happened. Is that basically what's happened?
That's correct.
Okay. Now, who have you spoken to at Liberty Life about this?
Oh, I've spoken to Nager Sunil, Sunil,
Mm-hmm.
and I've
What's his
all emails.
What's their position?
They've all been senior management, Scott. We've even gone right up to David Munro, the CEO.
And what was his response?
Well, when I originally approached him a few months ago, and I said to him, look, this thing is getting hot and then getting cold, and we're really getting a little bit agitated. He jumped onto it straight away, and he said to me, right, he will follow it up, and then he passed it on to a lady, Elna, and then I went back to him and I said to him, look, you guys have got to have forensic auditors. I want forensic auditors on this, or I'm calling in David Klatsko from the UK, who has taken on many, many insurance companies, and I subsequently did speak to David Klatsko. And then it went down the line again so many times. And then They then requested all my mom's bank statements from the 1990s, which we organized through NetBank and whatever, and did everything. Then they came back and they've now said, well, we can't find anything. But what's now transpired is quite interesting, is the one person, the lady, Margarita or whatever, who was actually working on it, sent my mom a breakdown. And when my mom started checking the figures, it looks like, this is why it's swinging around now, it looks like she has been paid her Provident fund, but her pension's now disappeared, because there are two different policy numbers, but they are denying one or the other. So it's gone up the line, down the line, and it's gone cold. So we're basically back to square one 10 years back.
Right. Now, is there not some authority that looks over life insurance claims or issues in South Africa?
Yes, there is. They have an ombudsman, and I gave the documents to the ombudsman about, about 7-8 years ago, and
Right.
they checked up and they couldn't find my Provident fund money.
But if you've got a certificate for it and it's a valid certificate, then it's not your problem.
Oh, that's exactly what we're saying. And they're saying they can't find it. Now we're finding two different policy numbers, and now we're going to take it to the Special Investigation Unit, because we're just not getting anywhere.
Yeah.
Because now we're saying, because when that lady, Margarita or whatever, Clausen, when she sent my mom the breakdown and my mom looked at it, that should have been her Provident fund that escalated, that has been paid out. But now we're saying, well, hold on, where's the pension fund?
Right.
So, it's two different numbers, and they're saying they can't find anything.
Now, I'm just going to address the side chat and say, guys, if there's anyone who works in the life insurance industry, do you have any comments or thoughts on this issue about how a Provident fund can just disappear? It's bad enough they're talking about now robbing the pension funds to put in infrastructure. Now I'm talking about the ANC government. But when the actual life insurance company absconds with your money, which is basically what you're saying has happened,
Yes.
that is just unacceptable.
I just think, Scott, that I'm sure, and this is why I'm very grateful to you and Milena for affording us the time, because I know you've got a lot of news feeds, and it's very nice of you to fit us in on the slot. I'm sure there are many people out there, pensioners, lots of people who have just cut their losses and said, you know what, I'm just going to leave it alone. I can't be bothered. I don't have the financial backing to fight it legally or take it to advocates or whatever. And I'm sure that there are many, many people out there, people that I've spoken to, just friends, people who just cashed in and just, you know what, let's leave it alone. But my mom is not going to let it alone. She's going to fight it, and she's not going to stop. And if we can get a firm of attorneys or people to come forward with their problems, we can maybe form a forum or something where we can actually take on. Absolutely. Because these people, my mom doesn't have a couple $100,000 to take this to court.
Yeah.
And I think they just, she's 86, she's going to kick the bucket. Well, whatever, let's just move on. And that's not on. It's unacceptable.
Well, the fact is that, you've got a valid Provident fund with over 50,000 Rand in it, and that money has just disappeared. Money doesn't just disappear. Someone has either stolen it, or they've done something with your money and they've forgotten what they've done with it. Now, I can't understand if you've got a valid certificate for that Provident fund. There it is. There's its number. It's not your problem if they can't find it. I mean, they just have to pay you out. That's the bottom line.
You see, what's very interesting here is that when that Provident fund became live, okay, it should have then accumulated 10% per annum. What they said a few years ago, oh no, that Provident fund has now been turned into a death benefit. So when you kick the bucket, your kids are going to get 53,500 Rand. Now, the law states you cannot make any alterations to a Provident fund.
Of course.
You can't.
Of course you
Yeah,
can't.
and this
Yeah.
is really saying that's not a death benefit. It was a provident fund that should have paid out or accumulated a 10% per annum. And that is where they're all just fobbing everybody off. And they're saying, no, well, we can't find it. Oh, sorry for you. And we're saying, no, we've now taken this to exco level. We've gone down the ladder, up the ladder, and, it's getting out of hand. It's just, I'm sure there's lots of people out there that are going through this, have been through the same thing or experienced the same thing. And we are now calling to them and saying, come forward. We need to do a class action.
Yeah. So what we're actually saying here is the money has not disappeared, but the type of policy has been altered from a provident fund payable out or to be paid out to you at 65 to a death annuity with that money only being paid out when your mother dies, and then it goes to the beneficiaries. So, and you had no involvement in the change of that policy.
My mom has had the same cell phone number for over 20 years. And her address, she's always, being an ex-accountant, she's always informed them. She gets whatever updates or whatever. So they can't come back and say, oh, we couldn't contact you. Because that is just not a plausible excuse.
Yeah, but if they can't contact you, then they can't change the type of policy. You can't just do that.
Absolutely agree, Scott, 100%.
And I even had in my possession my tax deductions on my pension fund. The pension fund?
Yeah.
So, I had the tax deduction. And then what's very funny is that I was being paid a pension from 1989, May 1989. I was being paid a pension. So that was escalating at 10% as well.
Yeah.
But then out that goes, and in comes the Provident Fund with a reduced amount. So
when you say reduced amount, was this a reduced amount on your pension or what?
Yes, on the no, not on the pension. They now say that they're paying USCO, and these figures from Fedshaw, I worked out and calculated, and it's correct. And what I would be earning, or what I was earning, these figures amount to the same as what I've calculated, but they haven't paid me my pension fund money.
They're getting the two muddled up. There seems to be a crossover here, where we think they sent us a whole lot of documents saying that's what they've paid out. And when my mom started checking it, she said, hold on a second, looks like they're paying me the Provident Fund, so now what's happened to my pension? Where 6 months ago we were looking at it reversed.
Yeah.
So we just I don't know. We're just really fighting against nothing happening.
Michaela says insurance companies do as they please in South Africa. Trying to fight them is like swimming with sharks. I've had my share of experiences with them. They fob it off and drag things out, which is exactly what's happening to you.
Yes.
Now, what has been the attitude of the people who you've dealt with at Liberty Life?
You want their names?
Oh, Scott,
no, just the attitude.
Well, first of all, Mr. Naga, Samuel did it, then Mr. Ishmael.
No, what did they say to you?
And then they said they can't find anything. They can't find anything.
Or they slammed the phone down.
And then Sam G. Moo, he was the last one. And when he phoned me, he said, I want to see your tax certificates and I want to see your pay slips with the company that you were with and all those things. And I'm a hoarder. And I keep things boxed.
So you've got them all.
So yeah, I got them all. So I sent it to him. So then he phoned me and he said, no, he can't find my Provident Fund money anywhere. And I said, don't come lie to me because I've already calculated what you owe me. And he banged the phone down in my ear Then I get another phone call from a black man. I'm not going to call him a gentleman. And he turned around and he said to me, why are you running around looking for your Provident Fund money when you've already used up your pension money? Exceeded, the amount of my pension money. And that's when I said, it's got nothing to do with you. But that's what they do.
How can you exceed the amount of money you've got on a pension? Because they pay you a monthly payment from your pension until obviously you die. So that's part of the deal.
Yes.
Well, they're hoping she's going to drop dead and not live till 86.
Wow.
Yeah.
So
too bad.
What would you say to someone who's looking at taking their pension out with Liberty Life, or taking out a Provident Fund or some type of investment with Liberty Life? What would your advice be to them?
Don't touch them.
Yes.
I pulled out all my investments from Liberty in the last 3 months.
And I've also
everything. I pulled out everything.
A few friends as well that have been done.
And it's not only my mom. There's a couple of other women who worked at the same company who just gave up hope. I honestly would say, do not touch Liberty Life. Not impressed with them. Also not impressed with their short-term insurance, just as bad, by the way. I personally had an incident recently, took out a short-term insurance with them for my car, and I was involved in a very bad car smash about 8 weeks ago. I was stuck on the highway for 2 hours. Wow. 7 people were trying to phone Liberty's short-term road assist. 7 people couldn't find the right number on the internet. And eventually I just said to the tow truck, tow the car away. It was written off. And but when I did lodge a complaint, they said to me, oh, well, the number's on the internet. I said, well, not 7 people can be wrong. And I said to them, the problem here in South Africa, you have an accident, people stop, they mug you, they drag you in the bushes and they rape you. Yeah. And here, I was lucky to have 2 very nice Afrikaans men who assisted me, and the tow truck guy who wasn't prepared to leave. I'm sorry, none of us could contact Liberty short term. So their short term is just as shocking as their long term. I wouldn't touch Liberty with a barge pole.
Yeah. Well, I've spoken to a couple of friends of mine. The one took out a business woman's whatever it is policy. Right. And so for 10 years or whatever it was. And so on the date, on the month, everything, they took the money off every month on the month. So at the end of the month, when she 10 years expired, whatever it was, and she waited about 2 weeks and thought, well, where is my money? Because they're supposed to pay her out. You see? So she went to see them. Oh, no. They just reinstated it. Reinvested it without her permission or anything. So she demanded her money back, and they never paid her the full amount. They paid her about 30,000 less than what she was supposed to get. And that I've heard from 2 or 3 people. That's what they do. Look, they don't inform you.
I worked in a bank for 10 years, and I was involved in renewing fixed deposits that people had and stuff like that. And the golden rule was that unless the person gave authority for that fixed deposit to be renewed, if they didn't actually advise you on the renewal date, you just left the fixed deposit. It was available to them in cash. We didn't just go ahead and renew it. You can't just do that without authority. It sounds like it's a Wild West at Liberty Life, doesn't it?
Yeah, but the thing is, Scott, we've been fighting this for over 15 years and we're just not getting anywhere.
That's incredible. Now, Michaela says the attitude is terrible. They make you feel terrible for fighting for what's yours, unhelpful, rude, and disgusting. And I take it you could probably confirm what Michaela's saying.
Oh, yes.
Have you guys actually gone into Liberty Life's head office in Johannesburg and confronted them about this?
We have tried to get meetings. I've tried to set meetings up with various people. They're not interested in seeing us. It's just emails here, emails there. Short of me actually on Monday morning before I leave South Africa, of actually taking it. Well, tomorrow I will be sending, even a Saturday, I will be sending, a Friday, I will be sending David Munro a copy of this
Live stream.
newsfeed.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely. And I'm going to say to him, I did make a promise to you that I was going to take this internationally, and he will be getting this tomorrow. And my mom's flying back on Saturday to PE because she came up through. She had to come up in. She had to go into hospital and have a few things sorted out.
Right.
She's not a young woman anymore. And short of me having to actually walk into Liberty Life and demanding his time, you know, I've tried everything. But I think once I send him a copy of this news stream, I'm going to say to him, look, you know, we're not going to stop. And when as you know, that I'm going to the UK, and I will continue to push this from the UK side all over Europe if I have to, because Liberty Life's quite big in the UK. We're not going to back off. We're not. But, you know, it's a case of going there and maybe emptying a whole garbage truck on their front door. How long is a piece of string? How far do you go? I mean, you cordial, you send them threatening, you sound taking it to the press. It's just like fighting a losing battle.
Yeah, exactly.
But
Now,
we're not going to stop.
as Liberty Life will be watching this video, how would you like Liberty Life to resolve the issue? What steps do they have to take? I'd like to hear it from you so that they know.
Well, we've now reached a stage where it's, after 15 years and whatever, I would like a meeting with David Munro, who is the CEO, sooner than later, and I'm talking probably the latest by Tuesday, where I will go on behalf of my mom and represent her as a proxy, whereby we will lay our cards on the table. I don't care where they look for this or find it, or, we passed that. I want my mom compensated because she's had to go short for years and years because running around looking for this money, she's out of pocket, but seriously out of pocket. And, being a pensioner, your money only goes so far. Everything's going up.
Yeah.
I want a settlement figure put on the table right up front now. We're tired of fighting. We're tired of begging and pleading. We want a settlement. And people who have got the same problem need to come forward, and we are now demanding settlement. They can go look for it, find it, whatever they want to do. But we now want this resolved with immediate effect. And if not, we're going to create a forum.
Right.
And I don't think any company is in a position anywhere in the world right now. It might sound, it was only 53,500 or whatever over the years. I don't think any company is in any position right now to take that risk of the bad press that can be associated with this. Because I know about 10 or 15 people that I've already been in contact with that are pulling all their money out of Liberty Life. And you start adding up those numbers of people that are starting to disinvest and people that are disinvesting now that are leaving the country because they've got till the deadline at the end of March. And after that, they can't take out their money for 4 years. The damage that can be done from this is unsurmountable.
Yeah.
They must rather settle this now and done. And we will walk away and leave it alone. But we're not going to back off now.
Right. Now,
Well, I also thought if somebody listening to this, a lawyer or advocate or somebody, and he says, okay, I'll take your case, no dinner or something. Well, he's got my file with everything in it. I would give it to him.
yeah. Yeah. Well, look, that's one option. I guess the question I have, which we haven't, you say that every year that Provident fund's supposed to increase by 10%. Is that correct?
Yes.
Then that's without you putting any money in. That's basically the growth in the Provident fund. Now that would mean that since 1999, that's 21 years ago, with a 10% growth, it would be a lot more than 53,300.
Between 3.5 million. Because my mom's compounded it every month.
No, 300. About 350,000.
But,
It's the small one.
okay, so basically it's not 53,000 rand we're talking about, it's 350,000 rand according to the policy or the Provident
Yes,
Fund.
and that money was invested plus the return of investment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's just gone completely missing in action.
You know, there's something funny going on here, because the fact that it goes very hot and then all of a sudden it goes cold. It runs down the ladder and it just poof disappears. Then we started again and we started again. You know, that really concerns me. That I think there's whoever changed it from a Provident fund or whatever, I think there's been mismanagement of funds. And my question to Liberty Life is, they get audited every year by Pricewaterhouse, whoever, we don't know. Okay, surely they've picked these, they must be picking these things up. They must. The books don't balance. You know, they have to pick it up in audits. Yeah. Things don't just fall off the table. You know, you've got 2 policy numbers, but only one's been paid out. Now we're not sure whether it's a Provident fund, but according to this Mariki, it looks like now it's switched that she's being paid the Provident and not the pension. So, you know, but we're just not getting answers. Right. And, you know, and I think what's happening with so many youngsters or people or whatever, their parents pass away and they just, you know, they just leave it alone, or they don't even know about all this money that's been, and I'm going to say it quite openly, embezzled. Bottom line. Yeah, somebody has stolen my mother's money, and I'm prepared to say it openly. I don't care if Liberty goes for me on libel, but somebody has schmuckled something.
Yeah, well, if the money's missing, then someone has taken it. That's the bottom line, even if it's Liberty Life.
Or it's been misappropriated, or something.
Yeah.
But we're not getting answers. Where do we go from here, Scott? You know, I mean, really.
Well, I tell you where we go from here. What I'd like to do is to follow this up with you in perhaps a couple of weeks' time to see what's happened with Liberty Life. And the other thing that I would encourage people who watch this video who've had issues with Liberty Life to please email me, and I will put you in contact with Glynis. And maybe if we get enough people who've had problems with Liberty Life, we can then have, well, you can organize some kind of a class action against Liberty Life. Maybe that's...
You see, David Klatsko is probably one of the best. I don't know if you know of him. He was involved with the Brett Kibble case. He was involved with quite a lot of class action with the fires in Neisner and whatever. He lives in London. And I had a very interesting chat to him. And he, without making any assumptions or accusations or whatever, between the lines, it was like, okay, I've been through this before, without making actual, you know, saying, yes, it was this company or that company or whatever. And he is very happy to take on the case, but at a price in pounds. And my question is to a lot of people out there in their 70s, 80s, where do they find the money to, let's say, pay a man like David Klatsko, who has got a very good reputation? The man knows what he's talking about. Yeah. They don't have the money. So they just walk away from it.
And I think Liberty Life know that. And that's why they treat you so badly.
Absolutely. If we could find somebody from AfriForum, or we could find a couple of attorneys that are prepared to do a pro bono or a contingency, you know, some sort of duck dinner, and fight this, I think it's going to be the way to go. Because if we don't get that backing, it's never going to stop.
Right.
You know, it's going to be like what we're happening in government. It just rolls from one department to one parastatal to another. We know that.
Well, I guess the message to every South African is be very careful about your Provident fund or your pension fund or whatever Liberty Life policy you have, because someone might be fiddling with it, is the best way I can put it.
Well, you know, the thing is, my mom's an astute accountant, and she's one of the very rare 86-year-olds that crosses her T's and dots her I's.
Right.
There are a lot of people in their 60s or 70s or 80s that are maybe going through dementia and whatever, and they're forgetting about what they've got. So they don't even know it. until they pass away, and then their kids start looking through their stuff and saying, hang on a second, what about this or what about that?
Yeah.
You know, so I'm sure, you know, not everybody has all their marbles in their slots like my mom does. She's one of the rare 86 years old.
Right.
So she's now actually standing up and fighting for the rights of other people of her age group and saying, hey guys, look into your stuff and let's see what's going on here.
Yeah. Now, Michelle has said you must deal with the fraud and risk department. Have they got one at Liberty Life?
Yes, we've contacted them too.
And you got no response?
Fraud and risk. No, it goes hot, goes cold. We've gone from ESCO level down to senior management. All the guys that are featured on LinkedIn profiles of Liberty Life, all have got credentials, all senior management, this, that, and the other, PhDs, etc., etc. Fraud department, legal department. I've even been fighting and saying I want they must have forensic auditors to check what's going on. Nothing.
Right, and their parent company is in the UK, isn't it?
Yes, and I'm, as you know, hopping the pond very shortly, and I will be following this up with blogs. I will be communicating with you from the UK because now I want to follow this through to the UK and take this feed into the UK within the next 2 to 3 weeks.
Well, it's only in the best interests of the parent company if they know what is going on at their subsidiary in South Africa, the fraud that's taking place.
I think it's very important. Yeah. You know, it's all very well for them to steal 53,500 from Jean, in their terms of 53.5 grand, but start looking at how many people overseas who are going to say, oh, wait a minute, let me pull all my funding out. And the repercussions of that 53,500 is going to be unsurmountable eventually, because more and more people are going to become aware and think, oh, wait a minute, I don't want to deal with this company. Yeah. So, you know, they're being a bit silly. For 53.5 grand, they really.
Well, it's now 350,000 because it's been there for that extra period of time.
50 grand, they're going to be burning themselves for 20 or 30 million. So they're really being stupid.
Yeah. Look,
but 86, an old duck. Well, let's just hope she kicks the bucket next week and let's move on. You know, that's the attitude.
Yeah. Look, I think that the fact that they actually changed it from a Provident fund to a death annuity, which are two completely different things, without Jean being involved, that's where the fraud took place.
Of course it's fraud. You know, let's not pay us. Well, they didn't know she'd live so long, but you know, let's cut our losses. You know, 53 grand rather than 300,000 or 200,000 or whatever it is. No, of course, man. It's to me, it's outright fraud. There's just no ifs or buts about it.
Now, Antoinette says you need to contact the insurance ombudsman. I think you've done that, haven't you?
We've done it.
Yeah.
We've done it.
Okay. All right, guys. Look, I'm going to wrap up this live stream shortly. We'll certainly follow up with what Liberty Life do. And I'll give you the link so you can pass it on to senior management at Liberty Life so they can see what we've been talking about. And let's hope they pull their heads in. And I make a commitment, if they sort this out with you, that I will take this video down. Otherwise, we will just leave it up and shame them.
Thank you. That's exactly what we want. We don't want it to go cold. You know, we're on a hot streak now. Let's keep it hot.
Yeah.
Thank you, Scott and Malema. Thank you very much for your time and, you know, assisting my mom. You know, you slotted me in very fast. I know you're a very busy man and you're very, you know, hands-on. But we thank you for your time.
You're very welcome. Look, I get absolutely furious when I see the way insurance companies operate and steal money, especially when it comes from pensioners, you know, people who are old. As you say, a lot of them don't have the money, and they're probably suffering from dementia, so they forget, and their money just disappears into a big rabbit hole. It's extraordinary.
My mom's very fortunate that she's been a very astute businesswoman all her life and raising other, you know, children, other children, that she's always watched her money and she's managed to, you know, accommodate herself for her old age and, you know, doesn't live in an old age home and she's always stood on her own back, you know. But there are lots of people out there that are living on 1,870 Rand pension. What happens to these people? How do they pay their lights and water and their Eskom costs? And, and what happens to those people? And that for me is what's really burning me at the moment.
Yeah, no, I get it. I get it.
It's exploitations.
Yeah, absolutely. All right. Well, look, thank you for sharing your story with us. And as I say, I'll give you the link so that you can forward that to Liberty Life.
First thing tomorrow morning, he's going to wake up to his breakfast.
You can say you can watch something rather than TV while he has breakfast.
Yeah, I'm going to say, here's a hot story for you while you have your booze. You won't need it. Get it all this morning because you're going to be getting it all this morning. Thank you, Scott.
Thank you, Scott.
Be well.
Okay.
Trust,
Take care and look, Glenys, keep in touch with Marlena, and in a couple of weeks' time, well, give Marlena a call in a couple of weeks' time and let us know what's happening.
Most certainly will. And I'll have the other email address. I've already registered it between you and I. You know the joke. All right, Scott. Be well,
Okay. Take care. Bye for now.
Okay.
All right, guys.
Bye-bye.
And thank you for joining us. I just want to thank the moderators for the fantastic work they do in the side chat. This has been a rather different live stream, but we need to get the message out there that the big insurance companies like Liberty Life are absconding with people's money. We're talking about the elderly and the vulnerable. They are changing one type of policy into another without anyone's permission. In the case of Jean, something like 350,000 Rand has gone missing, and she's been treated like a piece of the proverbial by staff at Liberty Life. So if you have a Liberty Life policy, just think about this. Just make sure that you still have that policy, because they might have changed it into something else. And if you know of a life insurance company in South Africa that has an excellent reputation, you might consider moving to your policy to that company. Anyway, I'm going to leave it at that, guys. Please remember to subscribe to be kept informed, and please take care. And we will catch up with you. We will catch up with you tomorrow night, 8 p.m. And we will be talking to Michelle Mullard. And the reason we're talking to Michelle is because, let me just check. Yeah, I've got the dates right. We're talking to Michelle because she's involved in this protest that's going through Cape Town, and that's related to secession and the Cape Exit Party and other secessionist movements. And Peter Hammond's going to be there as well. And on Saturday morning, somewhere between 8 and 9 a.m., we will be covering live the protest in Cape Town. And Michelle will be involved in that. And Michelle, I'm going to Skype you in a minute because we need to decide exactly who else is going to be joining us tomorrow night at 8 p.m. All right, guys, please take care. I'll leave the side chat open for a few minutes so you can say hi and goodbye. And see you tomorrow night at 8 p.m. Johannesburg.